Year 5, we are doing guided reading. We have looked at this book already, so we've already looked at the Egyptian way of life and the Egyptian way of death. So we are moving straight on to section 3, gods, goddesses and myths. So I'm going to click on here and go straight to that section. And just as we did last time, we'll go through this together, and then you can log on to Rising Stars and you can do the quiz yourself. So, gods, goddesses and myths. Order and chaos. The Egyptians had a lot of gods, and each god had a job. For instance, Ra was the god of the sun, and one of the most important ancient Egyptian gods. The goddess Mahat was in charge of keeping order, and the enemy of Ra and Maat was the god Apep. Okay, and we've heard of those before. Ancient Egyptians believed that their world was constantly under attack from the forces of chaos, which was frightening. So their religion was very focused on keeping things in order. Every god and every person had their place and purpose in the world. The most important person of all was the king, who was a living god. The king was a link between the world of the gods and the world of the humans. And the king's role was to help the gods keep the world from falling into chaos. So we've got the myth of Isis. 3 highly significant gods were Isis, Set and Osiris. The myth of Isis is about death and rebirth. In the myth, Set and Osiris were brothers. Isis was Osiris's wife, but Set was jealous of Osiris, so he killed him. He cut his body up into many pieces and scattered them around the world. The Egyptians are quite gruesome, aren't they? Isis was so sad that her tears caused the first ever flood of the River Nile. Isis held back her tears and went to find the scattered pieces of Osiris. She collected them together and brought him back to life. After that, Osiris became the king of the underworld, the god of the dead, and of eternal afterlife. Isis was believed to help people into the afterlife as she helped Osiris. Her worship spread beyond Egypt and became part of the Roman religion. Egyptians believed that it was essential for all body parts to be together for a person to get into the world of the dead. This is why mummification was so important. The Egyptians had a god or goddess for practically everything. Amun was represented as a ram. He was said to have created the world. Sometimes Amun and Ra were worshipped together as Amun-Ra. We've got Nut. Nut was the goddess of the sky. Her body arched over the world. Egyptians believed that Nut swallowed the sun every night and it was reborn from her body every morning. We've got Bes, who is the god of childbirth, children and mothers. He was a much loved god who was believed to defend everything good. We've got Horus, who was the son of Isis and Osiris. Horus is shown with a falcon's head. Falcons fly high above and see everything and swoop to kill. The perfect bird to be associated with an all-powerful, fierce ruler who was a high flyer and close to the gods. We've got Bastet, who was the goddess of cats. She was the daughter of Ra, and he sometimes sent her to fight his enemies in the shape of a lioness. Cats were greatly respected because they would kill dangerous vermin like snakes and rats. I'm not sure my two would give a snake or a rat a run for their money at the moment. There's a special sacred city where cats were worshipped called Bubastis, and we learnt about Bubastis a little bit in our story and guided reading over the last few weeks. We've got Anubis, who was the son of Set. He was a jackal-headed god of death, and he took souls to the underworld. In tombs, Anubis is often shown looking after the dead. And then we've got Set, who was the god of disorder, storms and the desert. In some religious stories, Set was a force for order in the world. He's shown spearing Apep, the force of chaos. And that is actually the end of that section. So you will have seen that when we read the first 2 pages, there was a little green bubble at the bottom, and when you click on there, when you log on to Rising Stars, that will give you a quiz. Okay, do rewatch this video if you want to, and have another listen. But I look forward to hearing all of your quiz results. Have a lovely day, everyone. See you later.